What's up, y'all? This is Dr. Dixon, and we're actually going to talk about how we actually design these courses and lesson plans for the future, of our educational system. That's something that's very hot, I guess you can say, in education right now. We're trying to figure out how we get these kids to actually use this stuff, and that's going to be a task. So, one of the main questions that a lot of people really, first off, where do we start? Like, how do we even create these actual courses, right? Well, you got to look at it in a reverse way. Um, AI does a lot of the work for the students, and because of that, you got to be a little bit more open-minded to how you actually teach your content as the instructor. The very first thing you need to know is your actual student. What is my student interested in? What do they struggle with? What are the gaps? What is it that I've done for my students at this point that they push back? What has helped my students? What have all of those questions? You got to figure out what your target audience is. So that's the key word there, target audience. Who am I trying to target? Once you know your target audience, then you go to the objectives. What is it that I want these students to actually learn, right? Like, overall, what is it that these students need to be learning? Like, do I want them to just know how to take a test? Do I want them to be able to apply this stuff? Do I want them to be able to think? Like, what is it that you actually want from the student? In all honesty, you have to think about that. So as I'm sitting here sipping my coffee, for example, I'm thinking, I've taught at multiple historical black colleges and universities, and I know there's a little bit of a reading gap. There's a little bit of some math issues there. And so there are a lot of gaps. And how do we fill those gaps? That's a good question. This is where artificial intelligence come into play. What has worked for me over the years before the ChatGPT and all of these things with my expertise in artificial intelligence is project-based learning. Actually getting them in the trenches and help them understand why some of these things actually are happening. A lot of people think AI started with ChatGPT and all these other things, but this stuff goes all the way back way in the 80s and the 90s, and this is something that's been in the works for a long time. We just actually learned how to kind of control it and deploy it so that everyday humans can use it. So how do we do these project-based learning things if they have so many gaps, you ask? Well, we utilize those artificial intelligence tools that we have. For example, let's take ChatGPT. Prompt engineering, that's the key. Prompt engineering is important. You have to learn it because in order for your students to utilize these AI tools effectively, they have to know it. And in order for you to be able to teach prompt engineering to your students, you as the instructor of that subject have to know how to prompt engineer. But understand, just putting the objectives in there and asking for a lesson plan is simply not enough. You need to be as detailed as possible in that prompt to make sure that you get the most out of it, just like the student. If you don't put the work in, of course, naturally, it's not going to give you what you really expect it to give you. So, shout out to ChatGPT. This is not anything sponsored, but I do utilize it in my classroom. I've been utilizing it since really they allowed it to be open to the public. Explore GPTs, but you can only create them when you have the plus version. So it is going to cost you as an instructor a little bit until our institutions decide to jump on board. We all know how we tend to lag in the United States when it comes down to education in general, whether it's secondary or post-secondary, when it comes down to implementing new things, especially in historical black colleges and universities and underserved areas. These Explore bots I've actually created for each of my classes. With each of those classes, I tailored them exactly to that particular class after getting a feel for the students. I released it as their personal tutor that they actually utilized while we actually were doing problems inside of the class, as well as when they went home. Got really good results. But students, I don't want to leave you out. I understand that some faculty are really going to push back. Understand they're still going to expect you to learn that material, and they're very hesitant about it. Has nothing to do with you. It's just technology has not always been our best friend. And so therefore, we have to have some type of ethics behind all of this. So we're going to discuss a little bit of the ethics as well. But back to my faculty, yes, we're going to discuss ethics, but at the same time, we got to think implementation. how can we actually implement this new course that I've designed that is project-based learning potentially or not, depending upon your actual course. How do I actually implement this? That is very important because you got to be really on top of it. But faculty, please don't fear. One summer, maybe a semester, maybe a year of hard work will actually help. And all you have to do is just adjust from there on. It's kind of like having your own virtual lesson planner for you that will pretty much do the work for you once you set the groundwork. Small businesses, large businesses, business owners in general, this can work for you. Reduce your overhead. Even if you're actually one of the workers for a small business, increase your skill set. Just figure out how you actually need to utilize these AI bots to help you out. This isn't a loss in job, it's an opportunity for you to create a new skill set. Now, that skill set, that really depends on you. What do you want to do? That's the question. Learn how to utilize these AI bots and it'll help you get all of this stuff together, to be completely honest with you. Follow me. Let me know some things that you'll like to discuss. Maybe I could help you with some ideas to get your ideas started off, or maybe even help you or guide you through how to develop some curriculum. At the end of the day, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to actually teach people how to utilize this AI and to trust it a little bit more. This whole AI thing doesn't have to be as scary as a lot of people want to make it seem, but unfortunately, we fear the unknown. So maybe I can offer some expertise in that, being I do have a little bit of a doctoral degree with the concentration in AI to help everybody out there. Just trust it a little bit. You might not want to use it, but at the end of the day, give it a try. You never know what might happen. Follow me, ask me questions, drop comments, subscribe, support, do whatever you need to do. And let's get the views up so this can reach people and we can start trusting it. Last thing, I'm at my mom's house. Look how beautiful her flowers are actually starting to grow. She's new to this, but I'm very proud of her. Look at that. Wow. Great. All right. Shout out to my mom in Augusta, Georgia.